We're going to click record now as we jump into our program. One other reminder, and I know that I'll do this again at the end. The ISSA show call for proposals is open. And so I know many of you are speakers or know somebody or have attended events. If there's some content that you think we need to have at the ISSA show this year for our residential community, I encourage you to get this proposals in now, because we're working on the schedule and the proposals are due by April 19th, which sounds like it's far away, but it really isn't. So I'll put a link for that in the chat as well. But we have a good audience with us today. And so, Gosha, I think we might want to get started.
We have an amazing speaker today, a guest. Phil Zaffarino is here, joined us. Phil, thank you for joining us on our call. Who has a virtual assistant in your office? How many of you use a virtual assistant?
Put it in the chat. Put it in the chat.
Yeah, put it in a chat. Put it in a chat. I have 4 myself in my office. 2 from the Philippines, 1 from Brazil, and 1 from Costa Rica. And it's truly a game changer. So Phil, please tell us about yourself. Okay. And tell us, what does it mean to have a virtual assistant? How can you use a virtual assistant? What can virtual assistant do for you, for your business? Somebody in the Philippines, how is that possible? Somebody in Brazil or, you know?
No, okay. Thank you all. Thank you, Gosha, for having me here, and everyone else. Thank you for your time. I think I'll start with my journey of starting our cleaning company. We officially hit 10 years this March, so woohoo for us. It's not easy being in business for 10 years. But I think in the beginning, when we started our business, it was more of like a cleaning schedule, not necessarily like a cleaning business. It covered the costs of everything and made sure that we're just enough getting by where it was easy for us to get through the day, because dealing with all the admin tasks, that was torture to us at that time, because we had to handle, and I think everybody's been there at one point or another, where you had to do the cleaning, get home, long nights, long weekends, having that dreaded phone call when you go to vacation with your family. All those things started really taking up our time. So we never really tried to grow our company, and it was just more like a cleaning schedule for up until 2020. And then 2020 made us really realize our business was more than just a cleaning schedule. We started to see that we got scared because COVID happened, right? And we actually shut down when COVID happened. And we shut down the business for 3 months. And that really kind of made us pivot and think of, okay, are we going to keep this business? Are we going to change? What are we going to do? Like, what is the next steps? And at that time, we weren't that big. I think we were around $15,000 to $20,000 a month. It wasn't really that much. It was enough to have 2-3 cleaners cleaning for us. We did, because of COVID, which was great, we were able to get out of the cleaning business. So that's when we went kind of like hands-free. It kind of went by itself, and then we just managed it over online. But we quickly saw that every time we tried to grow our business, we would hit a roadblock. It was something that we couldn't get past because of all the mundane tasks that kept happening. And COVID really kind of awakened that remote worker concept in our brain. Because no one was coming into your office anymore, right? And at that time, we were small. We didn't have an office. So we started, that kind of clicked in our brain when we really wanted to get back into starting our business and going from a cleaning schedule to the business. We discovered in 2021, which took a little time to figure this out, but in 2021, we discovered CBF, and that really showed us all the business systems of how to have a successful residential cleaning business. Except we didn't have the time anymore, because now we were cleaning, catching up with all the stuff that happened with COVID, and we were doing like learning, sitting down, implementing, sitting down, doing the cleanings. So it was long nights, long weekends, and we were like, we can't do this. We cannot maintain doing this for very long. I don't know if a lot of you have businesses or run your business with your spouse. That's not fun. especially when you see them all day long in your business and then you have to deal with all the problems at home. That didn't work out. So we came to the brink of either we fix this business or we sell the business or we get rid of our marriage. And so we really wanted to focus on fixing the business. That was our choice. And we discovered the power of VAs through that journey because we were looking at hiring a remote worker here in the US. And to be honest, like we wanted someone who would be dedicated and really be there for our company. And honestly, you can't find, and also not like a complete idiot too, right? Because like it's hard to find someone who's qualified and is going to be dedicated to your business for less than 20 to $25 an hour. It's like impossible to find it here in the US. And that's where we started having that aha moment. Because I think a lot of misconceptions with people who are not experienced with VAs is they think that VAs are more of like a Fiverr or Upwork or a freelance.com kind of style where you assign projects. And that's really not where you can capitalize and succeed with VAs. It's more on VAs are virtual office workers overseas. And they get most of the time you get a benefit of having bilingual experts, and you're paying on average $5 an hour. So we did all the math and we just sat down. It would be impossible for us to pay $50,000 for a remote worker in the US at the time with our small business. It was just impossible. It would never happen. So we actually ended up hiring two virtual assistants, and that was $10 an hour at the time. And we started implementing everything Debbie was teaching us, everything in the CBF system. We would learn it, tell our VAs, and implement it. So we had, let's say, 40 hours a week, each me and my wife. We just instantly added another 80 hours by hiring those two virtual assistants, which they have been with us for 4 years. Another common thing that happens, people wonder if VAs are loyal to your business. They're very loyal. They see the opportunity that they have as a career path. Like our VAs see long term, especially in South America, in the Philippines as well. They see these relationships as long term. And you can't pay anyone in America or in the US a fair wage, which is $20 an hour, and honestly expect them to be loyal for very long. They're not going to. They might last a couple years, but they're not going to be with you long term. It's not going to happen. They want to grow. They want to progress. And when you outsource to these places like South America or the Philippines, which we do, it allows them to have a career inside your business. Because if you start them off at $5 an hour, which is about 3 times minimum salary in their country, super fair wage, you can easily grow them into a $10 an hour position. And they'll be there for 5, 6, 10, 15 years. We know virtual assistants that have been working in our friends' companies for over 15 years now. And this is like prior to where virtual assistants were popular, right? So they do value the respect and the long-term relationship. And you want to really create that culture inside your business. You want to have them be very, very inclusive, right? That's going to always help you progress farther. And I think going back to the part where understanding what a VA is they're not just there to do projects. They're there to be your office manager. They're there to be your scheduler. They're there to be your customer support. They're there to take over the role just overseas. It's the same quality, sometimes even better. Like we have the people that manage our business, they're MBAs, like they've gone through 8 years of college in librarian science. They're super organized. They're way better at organization than we are. A lot of the skills that you can hire overseas, because when I think the biggest misconception is you hear $5 an hour and you think, oh, wait, they're not going to be very qualified. They're not going to be very good. And that is completely wrong. You get top quality people that don't have that opportunity to help you inside your business. And then after we discovered that power, we started helping other companies, other friends. Now we have an agency that does that. We do finding, training, and finding, hiring, training, and onboarding to your personal company. Um, to the specifics, we've done over 150 VA placements. So I think we've mastered it by now. And everyone has a retention. We have a retention of about 98%. So it's something that really works. It's something that allows you to scale quicker. When you want to grow, we don't like chaos. And I think the only way you avoid chaos is by having dedicated people to manage the things that do happen in your business, right? Right now, we've grown since 2021 when we started CBF. We tried the VA model where we did it 100% remote, and we did that for about a year. We grew 22% that first year. The second year, we grew about 32%. And this last year, we were about an hour a week inside the cleaning business. And I mean, the only reason we really started this business, me and my wife, we were 21 at the time, it was for time freedom and more money, right? I think that's why everybody opens a business. And that's something we were not having. We did not have time freedom whatsoever. So our mission really was to get time freedom. And last year we spent on average about an hour a week. We got into 50 meetings, and we grew another 28% from the year prior. So we tested our remote business. It works well. Now we're doing a hybrid mix. So we have an office space just for the cleaners and technicians, and we have the remote office online. So we manage everything online, but the cleaners, they have a meeting space and all that. So it's a hybrid, and pretty much what we do is we'll have the brain, which is our virtual assistant, talk to the trainer. So she sets up the meetings. They do the meetings virtually. So they go into our office space. They'll sit all the technicians there, and then the admin, the office manager, will have a meeting in between them. And she pretty much runs the entire business virtually through these online meetings. We have forms that they fill out. It really is like an endless possibility. There isn't really anything they can't do that an office manager can here in the US. You're just ending up saving about $15 to $20 an hour on those costs. And it really allows you to focus on what's important, right? You have to be the entrepreneur in your business, and you have to keep looking at I mean, what you guys are doing right now. You're here learning, right? So you can take these things back and implement them in your business. And the only way you can really scale is having someone implement, right? Me and my wife, Kalita, me and her are visionaries. We're not the implementers. We're not really that good at implementing, but there are amazing people on our teams that are implementers. Right now, we currently have 5 VAs in our cleaning business, and in our recruitment agency, we have about 25 VAs. So it is possible to even create new businesses with virtual assistants. So if you wanted to create, like Goisha has a residential and commercial business, you can create a second business. If you only focus on residential, you can create a second business in commercial. Because honestly, you can't operate them together. They're not the same thing. They're two different beasts. And you need to separate them, but you want to have that dedicated attention towards either the residential or the commercial. So that's a great way to start with a VA, is maybe even considering opening another business, because that's kind of what happened with us. As soon as we started implementing the VAs inside our cleaning business, we noticed we had a bunch of time again, and we kind of hit a place where it's like, okay, well, this is pretty much systematized, it's automated, where they're taking care of the entire business. What do we do now with our time? Because we have too much time freedom now. We decided to start another business. So this is actually our third business now, well, that we've started since implementing VAs, and it's been a game changer. It's changed the course of our lives. It's kind of like the aha moment of the realization that you can buy back your low value tasks. Like you don't have to do those things. You don't have to have your admin at your office doing those things. That like if you already have an admin, I'm not saying fire them. I'm saying have them free up your time. So have them focus on the things that are important in your business. So if you want to send them to BNI meetings, they can go to BNI meetings because they're here, right? That's not something a virtual, a remote worker can do. So have them focus on growing your business. I know Gosha implements this in her business. She sends someone out for BNI to keep capturing new commercial leads. That's a fantastic way to keep that in-house employee, making them be worth the value that you're paying them, right? And have the mundane things like taking care of emails, scheduling, taking care of phone calls. All those things can be done remotely. Like if it's not in the United States, it's getting done in South America. And the reason why we go very into South America is because there's only a 2 hour difference from America, most time zones in America to South America. The Philippines is a little more difficult because they are working like the third shift, so overnight. That makes it a little tough. I personally, it makes it harder for me to talk to someone at like 3 in the morning. I feel bad. Like, hey, I need this done. It's like, I know you're tired, but I need you to do this. So we do like going with South America, but we do have people in the Philippines as well. Um, but we do like going more with South America because they're closer to our time zone. And that's also something you want to incorporate in your business. You want to have those VAs really feel like they're a part of your business. They want to wear your shirt, like they want to wear the company shirt. Our girls will stay whenever we need them for emergencies, things that happen out of the like working hours. They're there, and at the end of the day, you're getting them exclusively for you. So like they're not freelancers. They're not going and working 3 different jobs. They're 100% focused on you. And then you save all these different costs. Like if you don't have an office space, but it looks like most of you do have an office space. But if you don't have an office space, or maybe you don't have space for another member, that's a great way for you to hire a virtual assistant because you can add another remote worker without having to spend on office space. You don't have to spend on insurance. You don't have to pay taxes, which is also a benefit because they're just providing professional services to you, and you get them for 40 hours a week dedicated to your business. So I think that's a good gist of how we got to where we are. And then I would love to just open up some questions, and I really want to just make it easy for you guys to get anything out of me. So we've hired a lot of VAs by now.
Wow, that is amazing. Yeah, thank you. So your entire operation is run by VAs.
100%. So our
Wow.
cleaning business is 100% remote, technically, like it's all ran by them.
Okay, wow. Does anyone have questions? Let's start with questions. Because I do have questions, but I want to open to everyone else.
How does taxes work? When it comes to paying them for employment, it's just qualified as a deduction, or how does that work?
So for taxes wise, they sign a W-8 Ben technically. I mean, they're overseas. As long as they're not US citizens living in a different country, you're just paying for professional services. It's like using any other service. You wouldn't pay taxes for using them, right? So it's
Sure.
like you hire a bookkeeper, you're not paying taxes for them as an employee, you're just using them as a service.
That makes sense.
So
Okay.
essentially that's how it works.
So they're considered a vendor.
Technically, they would be considered like a subcontractor,
Gotcha.
like a virtual subcontractor. But it's very clear in the tax IRS forms and all that stuff.
And you
It's
just need to have that form on file in your office.
it's
right?
not even necessary, to be honest. We do it as a precaution, so we provide all the legal documentation, and that's why sometimes it's better to go through an agency, because then you get all the legality and all the wondering out of your system, and like you're taken care of. But yeah, it's just a W-8 Ben form. They sign it, and then they're supposed to send you an invoice at the end of the month, and you just pay the invoice. And that's technically what how you deal with payments. And you can pay through 3 different platforms that we always recommend. I mean, you can do it through PayPal. It usually is better for the Philippines. Wise, right? And then you can do bank transfers as well. So Bank of America does free international bank transfers.
Yep, we use Wise in our company. Yep.
Yeah, it's our favorite. We use it too.
Mm-hmm. Anyone else? Any other questions?
Can you tell us a little bit about the recruiting process that your agency goes through, like the interviewing and vetting out before the candidates even presented to an individual?
Of course. So this is actually our most extensive process. So the way we do it is we all obviously we put a job listing up. Um, Out of that job listing, we do about there's about 100 applicants per job listing that apply. Out of those 100, we pretty much narrow it down to 20. Out of those 20, we send them through like an assessment test to see if they're really paying attention, if they're dedicated, and also if they match our expectations with English. That's a very big determining factor for us. English has to be a very strong factor, like because we want them to be customer facing sometimes, right? Not necessarily doing your sales, but they're there to answer your phone calls, right? So they're there to deal with customers, deal with your technicians, um, deal with problems that might occur, and you want to have that good quality English, right? And so by the time we filter through that 20 that applied, they passed the assessment, then we'll have about 10 that will actually land on an interview. And then from those 10, we'll evaluate their English. About 5 of those get passed on to about an assessment week where we test their basic skills of like how they are as admins. So basic email skills, like if they're paying attention. We do a little bit of role play. So we're checking if they are doing like they're good with active listening, they're paying attention, if they're catching moments where it's like, oh, that could have been better. If they're responding quickly, if the way they're responding, if they're using AI, like that's important. Really like evaluating if that person's paying attention. Then after they go through that assessment week, then we present you, and our agency, we present you those 3 candidates for you to choose upon after, like, these are the 3 candidates that fit your role that you're looking for best. So if you're looking for a scheduler, if you're looking for someone who's going to be more of an admin manager, so they're going to be running the operations, dealing with technicians, answering phone calls, like dealing with clients, that's more of an admin. So that person has to be a little bit more quick. I think that's a good way to put it. They have to be very adaptive. They have to learn and be quick to get there. And we kind of filter through that through the assessment week. And when you finally get presented those 3 candidates, then they get put into a training of about 40 hours. So it's a whole week of training, and they're learning pretty much all the basics and the important things that we've discovered from training and placing VAs into different companies, which are American culture, which is very, very important. Like they're dealing with Americans, right? They're dealing with our clients here in America. So they need to understand like the basic, hey, like how is the weather? Like what's the weather? Like you need to know those things because like you want to give that impression that that remote worker is inside your house or inside your state, right? Inside your office. And so we do a lot of that basic training to get them prepared to understand what they're going to be doing inside your business. And we do American culture. We do a little bit of understanding how to negotiate like sales, not necessarily sales, but like how to deal with the sales call. Like if somebody's looking for a new cleaning or how to do that. We always recommend having like a price list. I think most of us already here have price lists. But having a price list, they know how to like work through a price list, how to work with these different systems. We teach them the basic CRMs, project management tools. Those are definitely the best. If you guys don't have them, project management tools is the only way you'll ever have a virtual office. You can't have everything in a file cabinet and expect your remote worker to find it. It's not going to happen. So we recommend having online storage places like Google Docs or Dropbox, those things. And then we usually run everyone through a project management tool. So all their tasks that get delegated there, and we'll train them on understanding how to negotiate those things. And then we also train them on processes and SOPs. So if you guys don't have processes and SOPs, they come ready on understanding how to create those things. And then that's where you guys sit down with your VAs and you work through it, training them on what and how you like your business to be operated. And they'll create those systems, well, not systems, but they'll create the processes of how that's done. So it's documented. And if something does happen to your VA or If you change and you want to have an admin in person for some reason, or something happens, they have all the processes and all the training that you've gone through on onboarding your VA into your company. They have that ability to document that. So it's something that we've discovered with time. It's very, very, very important. So like if you don't have a uniformed way of answering a phone call, it's not going to be successful. And I think any business is this way. Like if you go to a McDonald's, like the reason McDonald's is able to hire 16-year-olds nonstop every single day is because if you go in there, you're going to have the same experience over and over and over and over. And those are SOPs and procedures, right? So they come learning those things. We also train them on like an, a mock company. So they have like a mock handbook on how that company operates. So they learn how to create those things as well. And when they get placed into your company after our training week for the 40 hours, we offer support where we're kind of helping you with the onboarding concept of having that VA come into your business and also help you create that handbook for your company. So like, what are your core values? How is your phone script? How do you answer clients? What is your price list? How do you do scheduling? Like all those things, you're going to have to provide those answers so that your VA or your remote worker can understand how to implement that into your business, which is also like a very enlightening thing because a lot of people think they're very like systematized and they have processes already, and you'll be surprised. There's a lot of things we're missing, and there's simple things. And this is a good way for you to really, because like I mean, I don't know about everybody's goal, but my goal is to be 100% hands-free of my business and make money. That's my goal. I think everybody's goal should be that. That's just my recommendation. And the only way you're going to really be able to do that ever is by having SOPs and procedures, and then people being able to implement those things, right? So I know that was a little extensive, but that's pretty much what we do.
Oh, that's great. Anyone else? If you guys want to put your questions in the chat, that will be great too.
Just ask them. This is a coffee and conversation. Yours, just ask.
That's
Yeah,
right.
feel free.
Yes.
I have
Any doubts, any questions, any concerns? Like a lot of people have like problems with delegating. Like sometimes people don't know what to delegate. And I think that's a big misconception also with like, because of Fiverr and Upwork and like freelancer, right? You think that VAs are supposed to do projects, and that's not what a VA is. It's a VA, you're hiring an employee virtually. That's all it is. It's very simple. You're hiring a virtual employee to do your scheduling. You're hiring a virtual employee to do your responding, right? To clients, to following up with leads. You can hire VAs to do marketing for you. And that is like a person who just deals with your social media. How many of you have left social media inquiries for weeks because you don't have the time to just go over there and give them a quick, hey, no, call this number or let's get in contact. So there's a lot of things where you get lost at. And really like the first thing that you want to figure out is how like what do you want to get rid of? Like what is the thing that you don't enjoy doing? That just should be something you delegate. That should be 100% the first place you should delegate. If you don't like doing something, delegate it, because you can figure out what that process should look like, and someone who does like doing it will do it, and they'll do it happy. You don't have to be miserable doing the things you don't want to do. Like that was the biggest aha moment for us. And it really was I think Andrew Wilkinson, he is a huge founder of I forgot what the name of his company was, but huge founder, sold it hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars. He has a quote that says, hire smart people and let them do their job. That's it. That's all you have to do. It's very simple. And that's the goal. I think we got a couple questions here. Let's see.
Yep.
Yes, where did we start? What did you hand off first? So we hate phone calls. That was one of the first things we handed off. And of course, it was something that we did with progression. This is also something that is, you don't want to overwhelm that person right off the bat. You want to do it slowly with progression. You want to get them to really get the grasp of what you want them to do, like how you want them to answer it. So having those SOPs, procedures, having recorded calls, that's always fantastic so that they can continuously learn. We say document everything. Everything should be documented. If it happens once, it's going to happen again. So have it all documented. Create an internal FAQ where everything that can go wrong and will go wrong will happen again, and they'll have that list of things to go after. But phone calls were one of the first things that we completely delegated away, which was the process of that looked like it was having them listen to 2 hours of a Debbie Sardone's online phone quoting, because we have the CBF system. So it was her listening to that, and then about 5 hours of her listening to phone calls that we were doing. She did that for about a week. Again, you want to give time. You want to let the person really understand. We got onto some practice calls. We pretended to be the annoying client, the client complaining, the easy client, the client that complains about price. We did it all, right? Give that role play kind of, and that's something we do in our training as well. So we kind of prep them for that experience. But again, every company is different. Every company handles everything different. So you want to train them your own way. And that's the way we did it. So we had them just listen to those calls. The next week after, we let them go on a couple trial runs of like existing clients, following up with a couple clients, getting them used to phone calls. You have to get a VoIP phone service. So like Dialpad or Ring Central. I don't know if you guys use those. We definitely recommend them. Dialpad is great because they do AI transcription. So it helps with like the details. Sometimes like the addresses get a little like hard to hear. It writes it out for you, so that's fantastic. And then all the calls are recorded, so that's always a benefit. And then you reevaluate and you give feedback. Remember, you don't want to fire instantly. You want to train, because at the amount of money that you're spending, it allows you to really grow that employee inside your business. So think about this employee being long-term, as long as you obviously vibe with them. And that's another thing which is important to have an agency, because we give a 2-month guarantee. So if you don't get along with your VA, or if that VA is just not being that person that you need, we guarantee that we can find you someone else. So we'll take care of that for you. And that really is that peace of mind that allows you to focus on, I'm going to just give and provide feedback to get this VA to really understand what the task at hand is to be done and the way I would like it to be done. That was one of the first things we did. Then it was scheduling, and it's similar processes, everything. You just kind of jump on a meeting, let them know who you are, kind of like what we're doing here. Just show them your software, show them how things are supposed to run. Record your screen, always record your screen so that they have an example to go back to, and you don't have to keep teaching and teaching and teaching, because if it's not documented, you're going to have to keep teaching it. I guarantee it. It's going to happen over and over. And then let's see. I think that's pretty much what like the first things we delegated were, is just scheduling and then phone calls. Scheduling was a little bit more difficult because you really have to get on the call, and it's just as you schedule, have them watch you do it. Share your screen, have them understand your thought process. Or if it's not you anymore doing it, your admin doing it. And this is something very important and very crucial. Don't let your admin fear the fact that you're hiring a VA. They're there to help you. They're there to help the office team grow. And they're there to help everything make it easier, facilitate everything, right? They're there to take off the mundane tasks that your admin hates doing. I guarantee you, your admin hates doing some things, and you want to get those tasks away from them because they're not things that they need to be doing. Let them do what they're good at. And I guarantee you, your business will grow without you having to try, because they're going to be doing what they love to do. Because some people love phone calls. We don't. And that's one of the first things we delegate. We always recommend to delegate the things you hate the most. And then contact with cleaners. That was the third thing that we delegated. So they started just communicating with cleaners because they're already doing the schedule. You might as well talk to the cleaners. And then we slowly took the cleaners' phones away from us so that they don't contact us anymore. Let's see. Any more questions?
I do have one thing that I wanted to add exactly to what you're saying. is think about it, like how much what's the value of your customer a year? Is
Yeah.
it $5,000, right? If you miss, this is what prompted me to hire a VA, because we couldn't handle phone calls in the office. And it drove me crazy to see voicemails. I'm like, seriously, guys, however, we are getting about 100 calls a day. That's a lot of calls, right? For 2-3 people at the office. So that's what we hired for, is really the VA to be an overflow, take the phone calls. Because these days, if you don't pick up that call and somebody is shopping for a cleaning company to have, right, they go to the next. You just lost a $5,000 possible client. So when you can pay a VA $300 a week or so, times 52 weeks, right? Think about that. Those savings, I mean, the savings that you have, or the money. So
It's the money left on the table. That's what we like to say.
Exactly.
You leave a lot of money on the table when you don't answer. And I mean, nowadays you're paying $50 a call for Google. So like you're losing way more money now.
you're losing money for advertising and possible new clients.
Yeah.
When you don't answer the call.
Someone here said, if you aren't using a VA for sales, what is your sales solution? So we are using a VA for sales. It's just we don't train VAs for sales. We find them. So we do a lot of tests, personality tests, to evaluate our VAs. And there's a certain profile, right? We do DISC tests and we do the Myers-Briggs test, but we have the really advanced tests that we implement in our business to find the VAs that would have that profile, but we say we don't train, because what started happening was you expect the VA to come and then they are doing everything. It's kind of like hiring a marketing business and expecting that I hire this marketing business, my business is done. Like I don't have to worry about anything anymore. Leads are just going to flow in and that's it. And that's not how it works. You have to train that person, or you have to invest that money and just continuously keep investing for that marketing to really work. And with sales, we were running into that problem. So we don't specifically say we train for sales, but we find people that would fit that profile that would be a salesperson. So like a DI, those are fantastic salespeople. And you should train them on your process. We give them the concept of how to answer a client, how to give a quote, but they're not going to be there selling a client unless that's something you would like to do. So like if you have that system inside your business where it's like, well, if you don't, it's like you keep offering them things until you get that sale, you can easily teach that to someone who would fit that profile. But we do more of like customer, like telecommunication, really. So like answering phones, being available to answer phones and get those quotes out immediately. But they're not considered salespeople, technically, right? But they are salespeople at the end of the day. They're answering the phone calls, right? But we don't use that vocabulary because it's difficult. I think it's important to stipulate that, because we can't give you someone who's going to make you money. It's someone who's going to take something off your plate. The way you train that person, that's up to you. I hope that answers it.
I hear time and again, just to add through it, everybody's in sales today. Like
Exactly.
wherever you work, everybody's in sales today.
It really is. And it doesn't matter. Like our admin answers the phone. So like everyone in our team knows how to answer the phone. That's super important, because if someone's not available, like again, like Goisha said, you're losing anywhere from $3,600 to $5,000 to $50,000, right? Depends on if you do commercial. Sometimes it's $100,000 a year. So you want to be able to everybody have that simple process of answering a phone, taking a message, and having the person responsible to follow up. So that's very crucial. Everybody's kind of in the sales position inside our business. That's also something very important too. So having those processes documented and SOPs documented, it allows, so if someone's sick or someone has to go somewhere, someone's in the hospital, something happens, they lose power. That's also another reason why we go a lot to South America and the Philippines. They have a better internet infrastructure. Very important. Remember, you're hiring someone, you want to have a good internet infrastructure in that country. Very important. And so you want them to really understand how things are operating in different departments. So if somebody is sick or absent that day, they can take over it by watching a couple simple SOPs or watching or looking at a couple detailed processes. So those are very crucial. And you want it simple, 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 simple. Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, done. How do you get the task that needs to be completed done? And then I think that's pretty much it for that. Hello, Angela, for a CBF graduate. Hello. How do you handle passwords and softwares and apps? Okay. So we always recommend using 1Password or LastPass. Personally, in our companies, we use 1Password. There's no way really to hide your password, right? Because as long as you need to see a password. So people are going to see passwords. But the reason why we like using 1Password or LastPass, it offers encryption. So you have 256-bit encryption. That's really hard to crack. And they offer insurance. So if your password gets taken or someone gets access of your passwords, you get that insurance policy, right? So it does protect you to a certain extent. And then you click of a button, you change all your passwords, right? So that's always our recommendation. Security is very crucial in our business. We worry a lot about security. So that's what we recommend for that. For softwares, I don't know what you mean by softwares, but like what kind of softwares we use? For our personal cleaning business, we use Jobber, which Troy kind of convinced me to go to Made Central when I saw him last time, which we might be considering even more. Like Lily keeps convincing me more and more. But she might convince me by the next time we see you, which will probably be next week.
Next week, yeah.
But we use Jobber for our software. We used to use Basecamp for project management, but now we switched to ClickUp, which is very extensive. It's fantastic to do all the task management and how to really keep everything in one place, which is really important because, again, you're virtual. This person can't just knock on your door and figure something out. You want to have everything so they can find it. If they can't find it, they're going to come bug you. And that only works to a certain extent. But again, we wanted to avoid the clients bugging us. So now we want to avoid the VAs bugging us. So the important thing is having it all in one place. And so we use ClickUp for project management. We use Google Drive and Dropbox for file storage. We use Dropbox for videos. We use Google Docs, Google Drive for sheets and all those documents that are important to just have floating around. ClickUp isn't the best for file storage, so we don't recommend ClickUp to store your files, but we do recommend it to have your links there, so it updates with Google Drive. So as you have that living document inside Google, that link gets updated on ClickUp, and that recurring task that has that SOP and every single recurring task, it's there and it lives there. So if you assign, I need you to reach out to this client, there's a living document inside there, inside your ClickUp task that goes to your Google Doc. Let's say your VA forgot how to do it. Again, you don't want to overwhelm someone. And if someone has a step-by-step guide on how to do something, they're not going to feel overwhelmed. It's just follow these steps and get the job done. If they have a question about one of those steps, they come to you and then you correct it inside your process. So it's very simple. You just don't want to overwhelm someone. That's the goal. Like you want to keep it simple and easy for them to follow and for them to manage it. And the Google Drive works fantastic for that. And then for apps, we don't really use that many apps. We do recommend using the Opera browser. They have a VPN built in. A lot of VAs use WhatsApp, which is fantastic to just have quick communication. But we do recommend having all the communication through ClickUp or even using a channel like Slack. I can go on for hours, guys. So like if I'm going too long, just let me know. Like this is very extensive. So I can go and I can go and I can go.
So Phil, here is a question. How do we contact your agency? Can you
So you guys
in a chat here?
Yeah, so you can go in the chat. I think Victoria, she is one of our VAs. She can grab your information. But you can also go to our website, getnuva.com, and then just fill out your information, and then someone will reach out to you. We also have like a PDF ebook of top things to delegate to a VA. I think that's a crucial thing. I didn't really get time to talk about it. It kind of got carried away. But understanding where to to really delegate and how to delegate, I think is a crucial thing. And remember, SOPs and processes are by far the most important thing. If McDonald's can have thousands and thousands of franchises and have the same taste and the same quality of hamburger, I guarantee you, you can easily systematize your business for your town and for your place, right? There's a lot of things. It's very extensive. There's so many things that a VA can do for you. Somebody actually mentioned here that they're a VA and they work and everything that I said, she pretty much does. But again, you don't want to create someone who is the octopus like we are, right? So like we have to manage everything. You don't want to create that VA. At first, if it's your first VA, you can get a general VA, but don't expect them to be good at any one thing. Like we're not good at any one thing if we're doing everything. It's just not going to happen. So try to focus them more on as like virtual employees. That's what you're really kind of, that's like the aha, like really, if I can get something through, it's how do I create a virtual employee? I need to delegate all my marketing tasks. What does that mean? Like everything marketing related goes through that person. That person is responsible for taking care of that. Social media post, following up with clients on social media, posting, getting social media calendars, creating the copy for the social media posts, coming up with marketing strategies, reaching out to carpet cleaning companies, reaching out to companies around you, having that connection of like introducing your company to them. Something we do in our business now, we do cleaning for a reason. Actually, we're top 20 this year, so woohoo! And that's because our VA is reaching out to different clinics and offering cleaning for a reason because we live in Connecticut, so it's very tiny. You can't even fit Connecticut in our map, right? So it's just CT. So it's not very well known there. So that's a way of us growing the cleaning for a reason inside our town. So they can do market research. It's just extensive. There's a huge list of things that you can do. But so you can reach us at getnuva.com. Just fill out the form. We'll get you just fill out the form. It's your phone number, your name, company name, and then there should be a place where you say, how'd you hear about us? Put ISSA, and then we'll send you that free ebook. And then you can also get in contact with us there. Eduardo will reach out to you, and he can give you more guidance on how all of this works. And then, I mean, if you're okay with it, I can give a little giveaway. If you
Yeah.
guys have VAs, so we normally train VAs for $14.97. If you guys book today through like right after this call, if you book there, we will give you recruitment and training for one more VA for the total of, if I'm not mistaken, $2,997. So it's a one-time fee that we charge, and then the VA is exclusive to you. We give you a 2-month guarantee, and we're going to give you a bonus of that $14.97 to another VA if you already have a VA. So in total, we're giving you about $3,000 worth of extra. So if you have a VA and you'd like to put him on through our training week with your new VA that you'd be hiring, it comes out to $2,997.
Awesome. We have
What was
another question
What was
here.
that website again? Before we move on,
Can you put it in the chat?
is
I will
it
put
get?
it-
Yeah,
put
if you want to put that in the chat, and then I don't know, Philemon, do you have a few minutes? We usually do break rooms at the end of this for anybody that
course.
has other questions.
Of course.
Because it usually at 12:30 we break into a couple of break rooms or breakout rooms.
Sounds great.
Okay.
And we have here one more question is, I'm sorry, I just lost it. Okay, how do you ensure that you are paying your VA a sufficiently ethical wage? That their
So-
standard of living reflects well on your company and your character?
Yes, 100%. And we do extensive research. And then it also is a benefit that I am Brazilian. We do hire a lot of Brazilians. And we tend to equate the salary to about 3 times minimum wage, which is a very, very well paid. And we do extensive market research. So we're always continuously doing market research in the countries that we do hire. And we do recommend prices to be paying. So we recommend their salary to you as well. That is 100% on you guys. We give you recommendations, but again, it's 100% recommended, recommendations only. So you are in charge of deciding how much you're going to pay for your VA. Um, but honestly, it varies really from $4 to about $8 an hour. $8 being like someone who will be with you very, very long. We don't recommend starting off at $8 an hour. We recommend having them build up that place inside your company, right? But $5 an hour is about the equivalent of about $25 an hour here in America because of the living costs at there. So I
Yeah, so
hope kind of
clarify for me, you're a process and standard operating procedure lover, as am I. So you mentioned that you do market research, but can you be more specific about the actions and steps that you've implemented in your recruitment and retention process?
So market research, as in for the VAs in the countries that we're doing.
Yeah. Like,
Yeah.
how do you make those determinations? What process are you using?
So we hire lawyers and we hire research analysts inside those countries to do that research for us. Again, we're fantastic at outsourcing. So they come up with reports and they do data analyses of those the wages that we are offering. At the end of the day, most of these countries that we are hiring from, they don't have, this is not a normal thing for them. So like having the ability to work from home it's a huge benefit to them, and they don't have to do travel. Like most of the people that do work in these countries, they're usually traveling by bus or by car or by bike for about a half an hour to an hour to get to their jobs. So this is a huge benefit, and that's how they really kind of they see the trade-off, right? So like they're making more money by working with us, and they're also getting more kind of like a freedom because we do treat them differently. Like the culture of bosses in Brazil are a lot different than how we Americans will treat them being in our company, right? We're going to value them. We're going to respect them. That's not something very common. A lot of the virtual assistants that we do hire, they give us that feedback. Like it's incredible the experience that we're having with you because this isn't something common in our country. This isn't how we're treated. Like, so it becomes very very simple to really understand like that you are paying someone a fair wage. But we do have that extensive, like we have lawyers, we have market analysis, like people that do that research for us as well. And then most of our company is in Brazil. So we have everyone from, but like our company, our recruitment company, we have everyone from 3,000 reais, which is the Brazilian currency, which is about $600 to about $2,000, right? So it varies, but we do different things. So for the cleaning industry per se, $1,000 is phenomenal. Like for what we're doing as tasks is phenomenal. Like it really is an incredible opportunity for them.
Okay.
All right.
I think we're getting down to the bottom of the hour. This was an incredible discussion. I think I already have a break room assigned for you. But I do want to do a few reminders before we close up. I think, did I see Lee and Beth are both here? In April, we have a lot going on for our residential community, and we're doing a survey of members. And Lee, do you want to say anything about our survey that we're going to be sending out?
Yes. So what we're thinking about doing, and thank you, Aaron, for mentioning it and putting me on the spot without notice. I really appreciate coming in cold. So what we're trying to really do is get feedback from the members on what topics they would like to have kind of blown out in settings like this, so we can bring in specialists and individuals at our pros on those topics so that we can make better use of that time together, and everybody can walk away hopefully learning a couple things, or at least identifying who is a subject matter expert that we can turn to for those things. So please expect a survey to come out. It's going to ask a handful of questions that's just going to allow us to structure this best for everybody in the ISSA. How to do.
Thank you. That was perfect. See, I do better if you put me on the spot, and I'm going to put somebody else on the spot right now. We have a lot coming up in April. We have our regional on April 9th. We've got our HCT on April 18th and 19th. And on April 24th, we have a webinar with Liz Trotter. And I'm really excited about this. Liz, tell us what you're doing at this webinar. You're muted, or there we go.
All righty. So Lee, I know exactly how I feel right now.
You're
All
welcome.
righty. So what we're going to do is we're going to do kind of an interview type thing. So I'm going to be interviewing some people on their best practices, what works, what doesn't. I think everybody is kind of understanding now that it's not a static answer, right? How you hire is not get the right process and just do that from now until the end of time. It's not the way it works. So we're going to do, yeah, I see Filemon's over there like, yeah, no way. So we are going to be doing some interviews with some people who are having good success and what are they currently doing, and hopefully getting some ideas that you can take, change, modify just a little bit for yourself, and also that are some core ideas that you'll be able to take and use moving forward as the landscape changes.
Perfect. And we have a couple of our, I know Marlo is on here and Amber are a couple of your, we're going to put them on the hot seat and they're going to be interviewed. So thank you to everybody. We also have on April 25th, we have our membership orientation. We're doing monthly orientations with new members, existing members. We're going through the benefits. You know, we find that during these discussions, we talk a lot about the education programs, the trainings that we have in our LMS. We have Sharon Tinberg's house cleaning process and procedure training. We have the professional house cleaning certification, both available in our LMS. And those are available in like subscription. So they're unlimited. We also have the HCT. So if you want to learn about our education programs, I encourage you to attend our membership orientation. And Stacy Conkle, who is on our residential cleaning council, is going to be doing one of our breakout rooms, and she can answer questions about, you know, what we're doing at the membership orientations, about membership, about the education program. So I'm going to open the break rooms here in a minute. Gosha, do you have anything else to add?
I think we are good. And thank you, Phil, for joining us this month. This was absolutely amazing.
Thank you.
Love working with VAs, and I hope this was very educational for you and you will take advantage of VAs to help your business. So let's jump into the break rooms.
I'm opening the
I will
rooms.
see you guys. I will see you in Washington, D.C. next week.